I'm not real big on asking people for directions. I actually have a pretty good sense of direction. I know some people who don't. I know some people that they love the GPS. I actually love the GPS too. You know you're going on a trip. You stick it in the GPS. It tells you where to turn, tells you where to go, tells you how long it's going to take to get there. It's really cool to have that. How awesome would it be if you had a GPS or we'll even say a compass for your life, something that really kept you pointed toward true north in your life, toward your passion, as we've been talking about this week. That would be amazing. Well, I actually believe there is. A few years ago, I wrote a book with my friend Dan Webster called Finding Your Way. We wrote this book to help people understand what it is they're born to do. If you've not read the book, I encourage you to get you a copy of Finding Your Way. As you go through that book, you're going to find that there's a process, and I'll save you the price of the book here and just give you the process. There are 4 things really that we all need to be able to do. And if we can build these 4 things into our life or use these like a compass, they can always pull us back to our area of passion. So the first one is that we need to look back. Look back. What do I mean by that? I want you to think back to who you were before you were 10 years old. If you will really consider the way you were raised and where you were raised, but the way more importantly, the way you thought. And if you have a chance to go back and talk to your parents or coaches or teachers or whoever, you were around as a kid, I bet they'll be able to tell you that there were some things that were true about you then that are still true today. Chances are, if you were a people person as a 7-year-old, you're a people person now. If you were a task person as a 9-year-old, you're probably still, you got a checklist and a to-do list. And maybe the podcast here is one of the things you're checking off your list today. You feel really good about that. There's things that were true about you before. As you look back, those things will give you an indicator as to what your passion is. Secondly, we say, look in. It's almost the language we use is like a dialing in a radio. Back when I was a kid, the radios, they had a dial on them, and you could turn the dial, and there was a little stick on the panel there, and it would move across from station to station. Nowadays we have digital. We actually have high definition radio now, so you can just dial in. But if you're going to a small town, let's say you're trying to listen to 99.3, and you get over to 99.1, I mean, there's not anything else competing with that. The 99.3 will begin to come in, and there's a little bit of static maybe, but it's you start to hear the station you're looking for. If you dial it over one more now with digital radio like we have at 99.3, it comes in crystal clear. It's great. Some of us are frustrated right now because we're close to our passion, or we know what it is, but our life is not dialed in crystal clear, high definition. I want to encourage you to look in. What are those causes? What are those places? What are those jobs you've had that when you're around that, those things, they bring you life. And there's other things that drain the life out of you. Let's say right now we were going to have a conversation about sports. Some of you would lean into that, and some of you would think, I don't want to talk about sports at all. If we had a conversation about politics, some of you would lean in, others out. If you pick a subject in school, history class, you'd love that. Some of you would love math class, and you might hate the one that the other one. Or if I love math, you might hate math. If I love history, you might hate. You get what I'm saying. And so as you look in, what is it that causes you to resonate? What is it that causes you to come alive when you get around that? That's an indicator of your passion. Here's a third one. We want to look up. We talked about this a little bit last week when we talked about purpose. But again, as you think Psalm 139, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. If your life really is a gift from God, if you've been created and not just some random accident or mistake, which I believe every single person is designed by a creator, and it's no accident that you're here. And in fact, I believe there's greatness in you. If that's really true, then I think we're obligated to live our lives in such a way that we steward what we've been given. And we don't just live for ourselves. It's not about you, as Rick Warren says. It is about others. And so it's about what God has done and honoring Him with our lives. So looking up is an important part. And then the last piece of that process is to look out. And if you're going to sustain, we talk about sustainability these days in the workplace. If you're going to sustain a career, you're going to have a great career. I believe with all my heart that you will prevent burnout if you will live in your passion area. There may be some other things that go on that could cause burnout, but typically if a person is lined up in their passion area, they're locked in on what it is they're born to do. They don't lose heart very often. I mean, I know people are going to be frustrating, and there's going to be some things that are going to be challenging to you. But if you're in that passion area, it's going to be so much easier to stay locked in. So as you think about discovering your passion this week, it's just right there in front of you. That compass is built in. If you'll look back, look in, look up, and look out, you'll be well on your way to discovering the truth about you. And if you do that, you're gonna find your passion is right there. When that happens, you're gonna have a really great opportunity to not only impact others, but you're gonna find fulfillment. Tomorrow, I'm gonna give you 3 questions that will help you even further than this whole process. But I think it's so important for us to understand what our passion is and to live into it. If we do that, we just come alive.